Thank you, Mr. President. It's interesting when we talk about the voters and the voters' wills and what the voters want. I think John Adams was the one who said it, that facts are stubborn things. So I took a look at a little bit of the facts in California, and these are some facts. Back in 1902, this Senate floor was populated with 34 Republicans and only 6 Democrats. The floor on the other side in the Assembly had 60 Republicans and only 20 Democrats. In 1912, interestingly, there were 28 Republicans and there were 4 Republican and Labor Union Party and 8 Democrats. In the Assembly, there were 69 Republicans and 11 Democrats. In 1932, on this floor, there were 35 Republicans, only 4 Democrats, and there was a vacancy. In the Assembly, there were 73 Republicans and only 7 Democrats. Now we move to more modern times. In 1972, there were only 19 Republicans, and there were 21 Democrats in this House. In the other House, there were 36 Republicans, there were 43 Democrats, and 1 vacancy. In 1992, there were 13 Republicans on this floor, 25 Democrats, 1 independent, and 1 vacancy. In the other House, there were 32 Republicans and 48 Democrats. In 2002, after redistricting once again, there were 14 Republicans on this floor, 25 Democrats, and 1 vacancy. In the Assembly, there were 29 Republicans, there were 50 Democrats, and 1 vacancy. So what do you see there? You see the voters speaking, not our opinions, whether we are the ones that carry out the voters' wills, that somehow the voters are the ones that get to make the decisions. And it's very interesting how we've gone from 1902, from 34 Republicans on this floor, to 15 and dwindling. And I do think that after the next election, the Republicans will be punished once again by the voters because they don't listen to the people. Once again, the party will shrink and continue to shrink. Not my opinion. They're the stubborn facts. I remember spending 6 years in the Assembly, hearing over and over and over again how the public, the voters, were going to punish the Democrats in the next election. The governor who was elected was a Democrat. Lieutenant governor, Democrat. And I don't have to go down the list. You know, every statewide constitutional officer, every one of them is now a Democrat because the Republicans are not paying attention to the voters. Instead, you're paying attention to a very small but very vocal part of your party that says, "Niet, niet, niet." It's time to change. It's time to look at what do the people want. I say this because remember the Whigs, remember the Federalist Party, parties that disappeared. Unless the Republicans in California start to understand the needs of the people, they're going to go the way of the Whigs, the way of the Federalists. They've shrunk and they're shrinking and they're going to disappear. Instead, everyone takes a look at the own interest in the very small districts as opposed to the corporate need of the state. And I hope that changes. And this budget that we're going to pass today, I'm not happy about it. I'm not happy about it at all. It's not my vision. It's a very difficult budget. We do violence to the courts when we do these cuts. We especially do injustice to our children in the schools, to the poor and the elderly. But this is all we can do with a majority that's not a supermajority. But that won't be for long because these numbers, these facts are stubborn. Not my opinion. They're history. They're facts. And I hope that, in fact, you start listening to the people. Allow them to vote on important issues like this. Allow them to do that. Otherwise, your numbers will continue to shrink. Thank you, Mr. President.